Hi, the TAKful Creator here. Okay, let's get started. May God the Creator bless us. May God the Redeemer heal us. May God the Holy Spirit enlighten us. Give us eyes to see, ears to hear, and hands to do the work of God. Feet to walk the path of justice, and mouths to preach the good news. May the angel of peace, prosperity, love, abundance, guidance, grace, nurture, caring, and peace watch over us and lead us to the reign of God. Ashe. Okay, oh, what is going on? What is this energy? Whoa. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna ask my guides because what is that? I have no clue. No love, and then you have your twin flame connection. Okay. So, hi Divine. Hi. Can you show me no? Thank you. Yes. That we're on the right track. And that we're on the wrong track, but we must keep going. Thank you very much. All right, much appreciated. Okay, so we're talking about twin flame connection. Yeah, that is the first and foremost. And there's some evidence that is necessary to prove that this is a twin flame connection, right? So with the last reading, we said something about a psychology student and a solo mission. So with this, I'm definitely going to leave this because even with the shuffle, this has stayed together. So this is the evidence needed. That's all behind that. So if you want to know more about what this evidence is with this twin flame connection, definitely go view that reading. I'm going to add it to the end of this. It's probably going to be the first video to your left. There's going to be two videos. The one to the left is going to be the video that speaks about this twin flame connection. But just know that there's going to be some kind of huge turnaround with this beneficial partnership. So what we saw initially was the transition phase up until this point, right? I'm not even being called to read the cards that we saw. I'm being called to express to you. Those were the stepping stones before we got to this twin flame connection. Now we're at the twin flame connection. Okay, and if you want to know why this is a twin flame connection and a little bit more about who this connection is with, that's what this stack is for, and you can go to that previous reading to get a little bit more information about what this twin flame connection even is. Okay, but now that we know it's established, why was the information thrown at us in this kind of way? All right, so for one that was playing on the radio, Flowers, that song comes up when we in the collective are being called to offer ourselves care. Okay, the care that we're not receiving from others, that consideration we're not getting from others, to give it to ourselves in this moment in time, because by us giving it to ourselves, we in turn manifest it in our external environment, and then people around us can offer us that too. Okay, but now the song that is on the radio is Don't Play With It. Okay, so that's basically what it's saying. Offer yourself the care that you need so that you can show up in a certain light and other people can respect that light by treating you how you would treat you, right? Because at the end of the day, don't play with it, including yourself. Like, don't play with yourself, and then other people won't play with you. But you have to first learn that lesson, right? See why this connection is even aligned with you, because you started caring for yourself. You started learning to love and cherish and all that stuff about yourself. Unfortunately, it was only done because you were in a karmic cycle, because you were in a low vibration. You didn't want to be this great person because you value what a great person was. You just wanted to be different than the person you were and end up being more in line with your divine purpose. Now that you see what your divine purpose is and see where your divine purpose is taking you, you see the potential and the possibilities. Take the necessary steps so that you can still align with it in the future. Predestination means that whatever you choose today will mark your steps going forward. It doesn't mean that it's going to mark your steps going forward forever. It's just until you make another decision. Now, that next decision could be, the next step to get to your goal. But because you're not taking that step, you're sitting in that realm of, oh, it's going to happen for me when it happens. You're just going to keep in a loop, sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. And now your life is a waiting loop because you told the universe you will wait. I know personally, I'm not waiting. Don't play with it. I'm here right now to offer you the information right now. You don't care to hear it right now. You want to hear it at your own time. Okay, no problem. But I'm not responsible for the information not reaching you. And it says nothing about my skill set. It says nothing about the value that I bring to the table. It says everything about you. Why can you only take advice when it's not going to work? Yeah, you need to heal. That has absolutely nothing to do with the person offering you all this nutrient that, is not geared to just one energy. Is geared to a collective energy. Okay, so I know I'm collectively feeling that there's one or two individuals that are just like, hey this, hey that. Shut up. I'm in the nicest way possible. Shut up. How about you come on the camera and you come do this? Tell me about your life so that I don't have to read into it. And I could just transmute it. That would actually make things easier for me. Okay, so I appreciate you being on the reading and taking in the information. Thanks. So, why? Because I know I'm a beneficial partnership, but because this twin flame connection is also a beneficial partnership. And it's necessary to note that it's grounding. It's grounding. It's near this guiding light. It's near this astrological connection to source. Because we can say the astrological connection could be us to spirituality, but there's a transition between that too. Okay, so like we have spirituality, which is something we can't see or touch or really experience unless our vessel is nil, right? Then you have the physicality, which is a projection of the spirituality. Okay, in this physicality, we can touch stuff and we can figure out what things are and move with it. But there's this in between that connects that ethereal and this physical life, and that is the astrological. That is how the spiritual can manipulate the material. How the material shows up because the spiritual is giving certain information, is pushing a certain vibration, is pushing a certain dynamic. So because the ethereal is pushing that, is using astrology to push the internal selves of us, that's the collective, to push the internal selves of us to move in a way that's going to push an envelope, whether it's good or bad, to push an envelope, and we just pray that it's the good envelope. Okay, but there's going to be a huge turnaround with this connection twin flame, right? All this light magic, blessings being accepted, being a medium and knowing exactly what to say, when to say it, how to say it, to really get a person to see themselves instead of pointing the finger at everybody else. Okay, I've noticed a few experiences where I've spoken to, for example, my grandfather, and I talked to him like I would talk to my friends, and I did not get a good response. It was not a palatable response, right? Because that could be seen as disrespectful, because he's my grandfather's, he's above me in that sense, and I'm speaking to him like he's on the same level or below me. That's disrespectful, right? And that's what I used to do as a kid. I was learning. But now in this stage of like truly knowing, I'll speak to him about certain things, and my temperament completely changes. Like, I'm not talking to him like I was a kid. I'm not talking to him like I would yesterday. I'm not talking to him like I would if I wanted to ask for something. Like, there's no me in control of the words that I'm saying to him. Just a thought. I want to talk to you about this topic. But how it's coming out, the way it's coming out, all of that, my body language, the eye contact that I make, all of that is not signature to me. It's signature to someone else he knew in life that he respected in a way that was above him. He can respect me as his granddaughter, but that doesn't mean he has to listen to me. You get what I'm saying? But like in that moment, he respected me as someone above him that he had to listen to in a way that was graceful and elegant and offered us a closer connection. Now, I didn't at once wag my finger and say, I'm your boss, I'm your mama, I'm your grandmama. Like, I never once did any of that. It was just, I guess, the energy of me expressing what I need to express to him. And I expressed that same thing for decades. But he didn't understand it until I was able to express it like that. Then I later learned that, I was being a medium for, a family member of ours, and got me to learn more about that family member. But then also the connection he had to that family member that may not be here right now, and that's what he's missing. It was also an opportunity for me to learn more about him, so I can not fill a void, but help him potentially see a void that could be filled in this lifetime, considering he's my grandfather, can be filled in this lifetime, even though that superior person, like maybe a mother figure or grandmother figure, it was his mom, that is no longer here, can be able to still offer the help and the consideration. It's just they're not here to do it physically. That's that transition period from the spiritual to the physical. Astrologically, we were connected by genetics and all this other stuff, to where even if I didn't give her the energetic signature, like, it's okay to use me as a vessel right now, because of our soul tie, she was able to use me as a vessel to express something, to have me learn so much. It was just like literally super learning process. There's nothing I could take away from it. And even how like my body was handled in that moment, like I felt powerful in such a regal way. Like I emanate the power. Now don't get me wrong, I feel that on a daily basis, but this time it was strictly that. It was no doubt, no social construct of how does other people feel about it, that subtle people pleasing nature that you want to have because you want to be agreeable and all da. It was just, I am teaching you knowledge and just bask in it. Like if I could, she must have been an amazing woman, right? Now I get it, in the ethereal realm she's able to be her highest light 24/7, but man, if my grandfather was able to accept that from me, that means he sees that in me on a regular basis, and I may not see that in myself, right? But it was just a beautiful moment for it to happen and everything to work out. Even though it was a chaotic moment, it all worked out in the best way. And then our relationship got closer, and not in a week, in a day, like immediately. I said the words and we hugged it out. Everything was just awesome. And now we don't even revisit that moment because we just move. We orient ourselves already knowing that there was a change, and we're respecting that change by never even thinking about going back on it. You get what I'm saying? Like, and that's what my granddaddy, about something so simple as I think I was explaining to him that I didn't want to disappoint him because he asked me to do something. Literally on a tangent, but I'm back. Okay, so this dining room energy, like I was talking about this whole, with my grandfather, this grandfather-granddaughter dynamic, and even though there's respect both ways, it may not be identical, it may not be mutual. So with this dining room energy, in one case of this twin flame, there's someone who is imbued with all the knowledge that would help a legacy, right? That's that connection to the spiritual. They're able to tap into the necessities to help build and create and grow, to nourish, but nourish in a way that's not only for your family unit. The kitchen is usually for your family unit. When you come to dining rooms, it is for guests and other onlookers, extra family members that you may not include in your immediate, but is definitely close enough to you to be deemed important, right? Important to see how you transform in life. That's what this dining room energy is about. It's all about the collective having an invitation into your process of living. Okay? And no, it can't be all about sex, right? Because if it's all about sex, then it has something to do with children. No, it has everything to then do with children. Because if it's only about sex, then what is going to happen? The universe is going to give you karmic lessons, and those karmic lessons are going to be produced as children, instead of having divine lessons being produced as children. Even though most children born are karmic lessons, okay? So, at the end of the day, dining room, being a caregiver of children, how are you showing up? Are you showing up as just someone who has sex and just procreates? Or are you showing up as someone who is going to be a nurturer, a true caregiver? Right now, it seems like the world has you show up like this, care for the children, and you believe that this is what you're supposed to do, nurture and everything for the kids, but you're in this in between of just have sex and keep it moving because you don't really know how to do either. Okay, and then in essence, what happens? There's a quiet quitting that's here. You no longer want to be a part of the connection. The level of commitment is too much because you don't know how to operate the transition. Well, what happens then? You go into your Scorpio like copycat. Now, we're not talking about Scorpio as the bringer of karma. We're not talking about Scorpio as the loving ball of mystery and efficiency. We're not talking about the emotional thrill of purging emotions. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a Scorpio being in their vengeful light, like a copycat. You do this, I'm gonna do this. You do this, I'm gonna do this. It's like a tit for tat nature, but it's like, I'm not hurting you in the way that's gonna hurt your feelings. I'm gonna hurt you in the way that's gonna hurt my feelings to you. And then watch my feelings be hurt in a way that hurts my feelings. And then I'm going to do what will hurt my feelings back to you. So in essence, it's just this Scorpio hurting their feelings over this copycat. Hurting their feelings over and over and over again. Why? Because you're doing the same toying, this sex act. This cycle of seeking pleasure, okay, it's done. Seeking pleasure is done. Stop seeking what you already have. If you already have pleasure, there's no need to seek it. And that's the issue with this Leo. It's like having Leo on the positive spectrum is great. It gives that push to be vibrant and bombastic. But in a way that, you would want to watch on TV. Like, that's what you want to watch on TV. You don't want to watch somebody that's droll and boring. You want to watch somebody that's lively. That's what this Scorpio energy is getting. They're getting that lively fashion from being vengeful. Not being, in this twin flame connection in the highest vibrational light. And how do you do that? By removing the parts of you that is causing everyone pain. Get over yourself. I can't, you don't know how many times I had to say that in the last, week alone with people. I get it. We're in the age of Pisces. You want to play victim, but it's really about you facing yourself. 1-1-11 is you facing yourself. You seeing how you're showing up in the world. Can you stop, bro? You're not the victim here. You're not. This twin flame connection with the partnership is great, but you toying with stuff that doesn't make sense. But you preaching children in dining room. How you preaching children in dining room when you acting like a sex worker, being vengeful, wanting to copycat people, acting like a girl teen, crying and throwing temper tantrums, and then at the end of the day, being the center of attention in a way that nobody even wants to pay attention to you. Bro, stop. Bro, stop. Because what's going to happen? All this negative stuff. Social media going in an uproar, rebound energy, a criminal crime, and it's criminal crime only happening because you're repulsive. Your behavior is making your physical aesthetic disgusting to look at. So let's get the real police involved, the divine. Let's get the divine involved. Hi, divine. Is the divine involved already? Yes. Okay. So now that the divine's involved, what stage are we at? We're at, main character energy, blueprint energy. Okay. And that's what this energy is seeing, this twin flame connection is? Okay. That's great. Okay. So I was getting heated, right? Because that was the climax. Alright, and now we're moving into this newfound information of kind of what are we looking into? Okay, the transition from the last reading to this reading was all of this. Is that correct? Okay. And now that we're in this reading, this is what we have to look forward to. Confirmation. But we need some help. Okay, so give me a second. And we're back. Okay, so now we have some citrine and our tiger eye to allow us to see into the abundance, to see into the prosperity that is unfolding in a way that is causing spiritual blindness to us. Even though the physical signs and synchronicities are letting us know, the spiritual blindness is not offering us the knowing to move with it. Okay, and then the tiger eye is to protect us while we're moving in these exploits, to assure that we're making the proper decisions for our growth. Not only do we have that, we have our turquoise and our jade. We have a few others here, but that is just to temper the turquoise and jade together because they normally clash. All right, so here we have the blueprint energy. They're seeing the signs and synchronicities. They're seeing when things just look seductive, when things look alluring, and then it's really a divine test for them to push away from that and do what is they're called to do, which is follow the signs and synchronicities. So are they trying to be the blueprint, meaning not in the highest vibrational light? It means forge their own path no matter if it's good or not. Or should they be the main character energy and they are the protagonist? No matter from what standpoint, they are in the right. Because the antagonist would be on the opposite, and they are then in the wrong if we're talking from the reader standpoint on most books. I know other books, say certain things. I'm just talking about in the overall sense if you were teaching generalizations, okay? So now that we have this main character energy, it means that this Libra of indecision, this Libra of, it's kind of easy or it's nothing. It's being turned on its head. Like, that's not necessary. Like, the Libra that we're requiring in day-to-day life as a collective is the judicial one, which says whether or not your feelings are involved, you make the best decisions based on the information that is given. You can't do that if you're in your feelings and saying that this isn't easy, I'm going to move away from this. Feelings would say easy is better. People who truly have the purpose, even if it's difficult, they're going to make sure it gets done. Okay, and that's what the main character energy really is. It has everything to do with the mom or grandma. I talked about that, the grandfather example, right? My grandfather, the grandfather example. But instead of moving like the grandfather, we have to move like the grandmother and nurture the legacy. Okay, we can't nurture the legacy unless we see what care needs to be offered. A lot of times with men, they feel like the care is given and money is given and material. It's finite. The care is not theoretical. Right now we're talking about theoretical care. Okay? Right? Why? Because having this theoretical care is going to offer the guest children room energy, which means this dining room of inviting people over to eat can move into, I'm not just inviting you into my life to be here for a week. I'm inviting you into my life to see if you want to be here for an extended period of time. You want to be here so long that we invite people over extended period of time. Now, what happens overnight? You get to see people in their natural state. What happens overnight? You get to experience the energy of people when there's no stimuli. Okay, you get to get the raw, uncut version of people. So now this guest room children energy, because you move from that grandfather of I gotta protect in a way that I have no one to go to a grandmother where it's like I have to protect, but at the end of the day I can go to my husband, I could go to grandfather. Okay, it's a different dynamic there. However, they're both the matriarch and the patriarch. They're the ones really scoping the entire legacy that they're planning out for them over the course of generations. Okay, the tires and rims, they are the ones that are orchestrating the transition. Because they're the elders, they're the ones that make or break the rules. What they say goes. Okay, so a car without tires and rims, where are you going? You ain't going nowhere. Okay, so that's how we have to think of this twin flame connection going forward. We're not thinking of it as, oh, this is a new cute relationship that we're in, and it's gonna help the collective. No, we're not thinking of that anymore. You might be in your teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and you're thinking of this twin flame connection as if you were in your 90s with 3 to 4 generations of versions of you that is showing up in the world doing stuff, and you pray that they're doing good stuff. Why? Because you have done the necessary backing to instill the nourishment so that they can continue to nourish themselves even if you weren't present, and continue on a legacy even if you were not there. Okay? So this can only be a full, huge turnaround if you see it. You're in the new stages of this twin flame connection, or of this soulmate connection, this divine right connection. Then treat it like you've been married for 60 years and you're still happy. What does that version of you look like? What are those versions of you doing? If that means you are acting like a 90-year-old, you're not going out and partying and stuff like that. You're going to tea. You're going to museums instead of going to the bar. Yeah, you can pregame and stuff. I know a lot of grannies drinking out here and grandpappies drinking out here. But, you don't have to go to the scene that is made for unruly, irresponsible connections. This is a responsible one, and you have to handle it with care. Do stuff that would bring you together, that will offer connection, than doing stuff that single people do to run away from their loneliness. Okay? And I would say that is to be the blueprint. Be that one person out there doing everything different. You can't be in a pair, a connection, a union, if you're the one person out there doing something different. Alright? So, just know that this is going to end chipper. This is going to end like in an amazing fashion. There's going to be a lot of love here. The turnaround is going to be huge. Because why? Police. I'm not even getting like actual firefighters, FBI agents. I'm getting the galactic order, like the spiritual divine order. It's just making sure that this twin flame connection is learning all these chaotic lessons in the safest way possible, with still feeling the instability of a newfound connection. Okay? And they're removing this prince, because lavender I spoke about in that other reading that had everything to do about these twin flame connection. It's all about peace, tranquility, calmness. That is why the police here, they're policing this. It's not here right now. That calmness, the tranquility is not there. Why? You're in this transition phase from this prince, princess regality to a queen, king stature. Okay? You went from something that is flimsy. Oh, it could be you or any of your siblings that, gets married first and all this other stuff to take on the legacy. No. We're speaking on people who are taking on the legacy, and you are figuring out now, how do you man your empire? How do you go about that? Well, first and foremost, you have to go about that by being main character energy with your union, which means you guys are a pair. There's no one against the other. It is you two together, so that this chipperness can be awesome. And with this white Caucasianness, it is the palatableness, the fact that we can just talk to you and everything be superficial and be lighthearted, and there's no depth that will cause anyone to be offended or any insecurities to be harmed. Like, it's true vulnerability in a way that is easy because we went through the hard work already, right? That's what I'm getting by this whiteness, right? But it's saying brown, grounded. It's grounded whiteness. It's not, oh, we lack awareness, that's why everything is so superficial. No, it is, we know everything that's going on if we work through this, and so this is how we view it. Okay? Now that you've learned how to do this within your union, you can then go and be that person, that role model, that's more than a role model. You're actively teaching other people. That's what you always wanted to do. You're out here being this blueprint energy because you want to teach people how to be like you. Like everyone else in the world taught you to be like them. Great. Now be this main character energy because you and your partner have seen firsthand how this union is of the highest vibrational light. And so you can show other people. Okay? Whatever pedophile, molesters, or rapists, you can be that with your union, right? That divine front, you can be that light when this darkness is present. You may not even know these people are like that, but because the light, puts a dawning on the darkness, this will come up to the forefront and people can see people's true colors. But that can't happen unless you are moving in the highest divine light. Are you going to show up like this? No, on the contrary, you can't, because this divine connection are the light beings that are transmuting whatever darkness you're casting over other people. we're putting the light on the situation so your darkness can show up in the way that it's supposed to, and you can suppress it yourself, right? As welcome known guests, to create tower moments in a healthy divine light to people who don't follow their intuition. You know that the camera likes to go out. So the last thing I ended on was following intuition. Boom, the camera, dies. So I know I wasn't following my intuition there because I'm out in nature. There's not much I can do there, but get the message out. So here we have this chipper nature. Why? Because a portal has been activated. Why? It's because both parties saw that this was a beneficial partnership that needed to be in alignment. So they both decided to be in this main character energy and allow the galactic order to remove this prince and princess vibe to, who's going to be my potential queen? Who's going to be my potential queen, to allowing both these individuals to know that, yes, it is divinely orchestrated. This is your connection. Okay, portal has been activated. This gray nature of you guys going to be turning gray together. This is a newfound experience. So whatever experiences you had up until this point with relationships, romantic, familial, acquaintanceships, whatever, just know that what you have with this person is different than the rest of them. Okay, so you have to treat it as so. Okay, this person might be a genius, or it's genius for you guys to see that this is a new dynamic. Okay, and the dark webs that were initially, I guess, casted because this twin flames connection didn't, it wasn't been made aware of to both parties in the same exact way, because everyone's different. Whatever these dark webs are that people had to beware, this light magic is dusting those cobwebs. Okay, the dark web is turning into old cobwebs that'll be dusted away. And this is important notice for the connection. See, whatever you're going through right now, just know that in a very short period of time, this will all be alleviated. Okay, all of this, the previous reading, all of that would be alleviated. It was only for one or both parties of this divine connection to see the light that they must show up in order to keep the pleasure that happens when you are in this kind of connection that cannot be replicated in any other form of life. It does not matter what else you do. This connection, the feelings of this connection cannot be replicated. So cherish it the way that it is. Cherish what you need to do to get to this point, because that's the only way that you will be able to divinely stay at this point with all the elevation and levels of ascension that, this connection is expected to have. So, yeah, I think that's it. I'll see you soon. Good luck to everyone here, and until the next.